Roar! Come on, give me a roar. Roar! All right. Well, how do you like my suit? Up. First day with the new megaphone. No, seriously, thanks to Amazon Prime for getting it to me. Whoops, seriously, I'm not kidding. All right. Is this thing on, my regular mic? It is. You know what I'm going to do? I know this kind of ruins the ambiance, but this thing is hot. One more. Oh, yeah.
Stop moving.
All right.
The short wait, I don't want to stab you.
Okay, we're good. Disruptasaurus would love a mate. How's it going, man? All right. So, sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. All right. You ready for some action? All right. There we go. Well, I guess I've run out about 30 seconds. So, here we go. What are we going to discuss today? You ready for some discussion? All right. So, a couple things. We're going to talk about my 8-figure business. You can't imagine a guy in a dinosaur suit can do that, but it's true. Next, the 3 enemies every business has. I'm even out of breath. This is weird. Oh, that's nice. Okay. All right. Was that creepy? A little creepy? A little bit? Yeah, I won't do that anymore, I promise. But we are going to talk about something, in all seriousness, something that's radically transformed my business. I'm going to give you something today that, honest to God, has completely changed the way I look at doing business and being an entrepreneur and serving my customers. And it's so darn simple. I didn't say a bad word. I know there's children here, 6-month-old, in fact. But you can use it too. And my goal today for you is to help you start a revolution with your own businesses. And I'm going to give you something that you can use immediately when we leave, even though I know it's hard to take me seriously right now. All right, so Andrew told me to tell a story, so here's the story. And I'm telling you this not to impress you, but to impress upon you and give you the lesson, because it's really something that changed my life. So if you don't know who I am, I grew up in a very small town, Eagle Lake, Minnesota. My dad's a barber. I'm the oldest of 4 kids. I was forced to go to a parochial school for 12 years, and I was a Catholic when I grew up. Well, anyway, sorry, Mom. And getting out of Eagle Lake, I had barely got a D average, all right? I just could not learn in a traditional environment. So I'm kind of a classic case of if I can do it, anyone can do it. But I always thought that if I could just earn $1 million, my life would change. And growing up, I just wanted to get out of Eagle Lake. And so I spent my life thinking, the words I had going through my head all the time were, how can I make $1 million? How can I make $1 million? How can I make $1 million? Not who should I become right now to attract the kind of people that would support that in my life. Who should I become right now to become attractive to $1 million or to wealth more specifically? So if you go back to last December, I called up my mom, and I've had a fair amount of success in my life, but it's always been gradual. It's been small. And I called up my mom, and the moment she picked up, I burst into tears. And my mom said, honey, what's wrong? And I said, Mom, I just made $1 million in a week. Well, actually a week in 25 years, but I did it in a week. And I said, and the best thing is I know how to do it again. And she says, that's great, honey. You know, your dad and I are so proud of you, and right now he's out in the garage, out in the driveway, he's shoveling snow, and the grandkids are coming over in a few minutes, and we're going to have dinner tonight. She goes, is there something else? And because my parents have always been completely unaffected by, my business. My parents still live in the exact same house I grew up in 46 years later. They're just nice people. So that was pretty cool. And the bottom line is, I went out on a mission, and what really happened is that March we had a live event, And we taught and we trained all these people who got this system. It was called Firepower. And it was all about helping local small businesses get recognized, get seen online. And Traffic Geyser had been running for about 5 years. We've helped, we've had tens of thousands of clients worldwide. And we just paid attention to what they were using our systems for. Well, so we fast forward to April 2010. And this time, I called up my mom, and she picked up the phone, and I go, "Hey, Mom, remember how I called you in December and told you I made $1 million?" She goes, "Yep." I said, "Well, I just made $1 million in 44 minutes. And she goes, "Wow, honey, that's a lot better than a week, isn't it?" And I said, "Yeah, it is." And she goes, "Well, your dad and I are so proud of you, and he's out in the garden right now. The grandkids are coming over for lunch in a few minutes." She goes, "Do you want to get him on the phone and tell him what went on?" And so my dad got on the phone, and we just talked about, stuff that my mom and dad talk about, Eagle Lake and our neighbors and stuff like that. And while I was on the phone with them, at exactly 1 hour and 14 minutes in, my CFO texted me and said, "We just hit $2 million in sales." And I told them that, and they just said, "Wow, that's really great." And really the most important thing is, and really what I left out from Firepower is my business partner, Rocket, was up on stage, and we had someone walk up on stage, and he told a story about how he had gone from being penniless and used our tools, and he had generated $35,000 the first month he was in business. And that's when my partner, Rocket, turned to me and he says, "This is the single greatest day of my professional career." He said, "Do you see how many people's lives we've changed and how many people are using our tools to feed their families?" And that's really when it hit me. It hit me like a ton of bricks. And that's when Main Street really, really made a lot of sense. And it completed that product, generated $9.1 million in a week. So to date, it's the largest internet marketing launch to speak of. Thank you. Thank you. And this last December, we released Social Media Marketing Machines, which was built on the same technology platform. And without any support, any substantial support from big affiliates, we generated $4.2 million in sales. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you that process, really the key and the secret that I promise you can walk out of here, and if you just switch your mindset, it'll completely and radically change the way you do business. So right now we have another launch going on. It's called Main Street Fusion. I don't know if anyone's seen the videos. Okay, it's based on the numbers, it's looking like we'll crack 8 figures this time around. And so here's the big teaser. It's not really a teaser. I believe we have an opportunity to revolutionize business with something I've been calling the hero economy, and that is this. Everyone who comes to me and says, "How do you do it? What do you need to do?" And I said, here's all you do. If you're just starting out and you've got a blueprint, you've got a process, you have a system, get fully invested in the success of your customer and gather proof that what you have actually works and allow them to share their story of success. Give them a platform to share your story. And they, meaning your customer, will support what they create. There's a few other nuances to this, and I'll tell you exactly what that is as we move forward. So I'm going to give you a little background. Most of you, I know all this stuff, but I'm going to just share it anyway. Right now, there's 2 billion laptop and desktop computers in use worldwide that are internet connected. There's 6 billion mobile phone accounts worldwide, and there's 6.7 billion people in the planet today, approximately. My wife has a foundation. When we go to Uganda, we are in the bush where there's no water, there's no sanitation, there are no schools, and there are people there with a mobile phone because a mobile phone is life and death. And you've heard before, I'm sure, that when people are asked, would you rather have your car, would you give up your car or your mobile phone, they'd say, I'd give up my car. Okay? They'd also give up their house, some of them. It's interesting. 96% open rate for text messages. All right? And right now, if you go to Costco or you go to a store and you buy a new television set, what do you got built in? You got YouTube. Everyone on the planet has a voice, for better or worse. Right now, if you look at what happened in Syria, you look at what's happened in the Middle East and continues to happen in Egypt, etc. It all started with basically Facebook chatter. It's Twitter chatter. All right? No longer is it possible for dictators and bad governments to get away lying to people. And here's another one. We've been talking about Facebook. Mike Hill was just discussing it, but 1 in 9 people on the planet have a Facebook account right now. It's pretty astonishing. Okay? It wasn't long ago. 6 years ago, you had to have a Harvard email address, something I would have never gotten in a million years. Okay? So almost 300 million Twitter accounts. This is news for a lot of people. So we've shifted from a transactional economy when it was all about collecting a dollar to a reputation and relationship economy. I believe the future relies in the hero economy. And if you kind of look at what happened with Zappos, they got invested, they started very visibly, very transparently supporting their customers with Twitter, and look at what happened to them, $1.5 billion acquisition later, right? A lot of it had to do with a frame of mind, a point of view. And with that, anyone and everyone has a voice. So those 6 billion people are going to say whatever they want, whether you like it or not. So you've got to go in and you've got to challenge, you've got to monitor the conversation, you have to get involved. And this is why I believe the secret and the solution is to move towards that hero economy. So let me tell you what the enemies we all have are today. Okay? Everyone's got a mobile phone. We all suffer from the Disruptasaurus. Okay? Yes. All right? I don't know about you. I walk through airports these days, and I can't get through because there's 12 people in a row. It's worse than driving in Minnesota on the freeways. I don't know if anyone's ever driven in Minnesota. Worst drivers in the United States, okay? I hate it when I go there. I love Minnesota. I'm not making fun of Minnesota. But in all sincerity, it's just like that because there's 12 people all texting, and you can't walk through. It's like people are desperate right now to connect and have a relationship and be connected with something that has a vision, something greater and bigger than themselves, and they're walking around a bunch of lonely drones. Okay? That's my opinion anyway. You don't have to share it with me. Enemy number 2, the Overwhelmosaurus. Okay? Which is, and here's the reality. Everyone has been overwhelmed for centuries. If you read old newspapers, old magazines, the big problem that people are having is overwhelm. This isn't going away. The however is, right now, kids are being entertained to death. You know, they're overwhelmed to death with all this stimulus and all this information. So in order to be comparable to them and grab attention, you've got to deal with the fact that they're overwhelmed and they're constantly, their senses are deluged with lots and lots of stuff. Enemy number 3, the Disruptasaurus. And we all have that. That is what separates you, and this is why that transparency is so critical. And why making that customer actually publicly successful and giving them the platform, this is how you overcome it. Now, in the old days, I would have said, oh yeah, well, it's as simple as social proof, but a testimonial isn't enough. And I'll share with you what we've been doing and what's been so successful. So, the hero, yes, it's your friendly neighborhood Disruptasaurus. So, what are the heroes? Well, one of them is just using disruptive marketing, and that means multi-channel marketing. I think one of the best examples, and I think Andrew's show, Help My Business Sucks, is a great example of that. We are all broadcasters, we are all publishers, and we all have all these remarkable tools available to us, but also using mobile text, mobile marketing, voicemail marketing, email marketing more successfully is part of that whole process. Also, relationship automation. So again, what does that mean? Somehow you've got to create the relationship with your customer and your prospect. And at the same time, if you're going to do some level of volume and determine who your best customers are, you're going to have to do some kind of automation. So I've spent my entire life, really my entire professional career for the past 6 years, developing automated tools for doing this kind of thing. I'm completely obsessed with it. Sales automation goes without saying. And E3, and what does that mean? Well, you've got to entertain, you've got to educate, and most importantly is you have to be enthusiastic. Enthusiasm is critically important. I'll show you what I mean in the next slide. Also, creating story. I truly believe that life imitates art, and when you create an environment where your customer can participate in a story and create the story of their life, and then give them a platform that they can share their story with the world, that's when your income, your revenue, and your visibility and the value of your brand dramatically, and I'm telling you dramatically, increases. And finally, hero creation. I'll talk about the specific components involved in that in a moment. And I believe that the ultimate goal here is something that my partner and I have been talking about for a while, and we call it transcendent marketing. And I'll show you exactly what I mean in a moment. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I should have done here, and I apologize, I didn't do this for the women. I was going to put a sexy man picture. So just pretend that's a sexy man also, okay? Or you can just imagine your friendly neighborhood Disruptasaurus and how much you'd just love to cuddle with them. All right? So my question for you is, what would you rather have? A bitchy lay around 10 or an enthusiastic 4? Okay? Now, I get this all the time. In all sincerity, people always say, well, I've got a face made for radio. I don't want to be online. I don't want to be on video. And what I say is, enthusiasm cuts through the clutter. Okay, when you're an enthusiastic leader, an enthusiastic visionary, and people need and want more than anything these days, a hero and a cause that they can believe in. And any brand and any product can fulfill that need. You with me or without me? Yes? Enthusiasm. All right. So, I got this from my friend Scott Holman. This is really brilliant, but he's a book agent for my friend Brendan Burchard, and we were talking the other day. And this is the why they buy. Why do people buy? Well, here are the 5 primary reasons people buy books, but really it applies to any business. It's a good writer-downer, by the way, if you aren't writing stuff down. And by the way, I'll give you a way to get all my slides when we're done here, all right? Number 1, solve a problem they think they have. Notice that I said think. Whether it's real or imagined, whether you create it or not, you've got to solve a problem. The next one is take advantage of an opportunity that they think exists. Again, real or imagined. They see that. Okay? That's why making money opportunities are so great. Solve a problem. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not blah, 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 blah. I don't have more. I don't have enough. Also, living vicariously through the lives of others. This is one very important thing that information marketers learn very rapidly is a lot of your customers and clients actually want to be you. They want your lifestyle. So they pay in order to be connected and be close to you. What they want is the feeling and the sense that they're with someone who will lead them. So, to learn more about a fascinating subject, and finally, to laugh. All right? Those are the 5 things. And I remember the true, they always say P.T. Barnum came up with there's a sucker born every minute, which isn't true. He actually said a man will spend his last nickel at an opportunity to be entertained or to laugh. That's what he said. So, hero creation, what are the components? Well, if you think about it, I don't care what business you're in, write this down, we are all in the same business. We are in the transformation business. Why is Apple right now arguably the most valuable company in the country? I think so. Is not correct? Maybe second behind Walmart. They've got $80 billion cash in the bank right now. Ooh, I stepped on my toe. What is it? We are in the hope, the inspiration, the motivation, and the transformation business. Okay, what does that mean? Well, when we market, we're going to attract someone. We're going to present a possibility of change, a possibility that something could occur in your life that would make you more attractive, thinner, lighter, more wealthy, more lovable, whatever it may happen to be. And hopefully our marketing inspires them to take action and finally motivates them to open up the possibility, open up their wallets. And finally, when they use that product, and if you, as the vendor, as the service provider, are fully invested in their success, they will experience some form of transformation. Now, the last step, however, is transcendence, and that's what I'm going to share with you next. How do you go from a transformation experience to a transcendence experience? And that is by collecting irrefutable proof. So here's the quick story and what has radically changed in our own business. Now what we do is we completely, and we're fully invested in monitoring and tracking as many points of reference with our customers as possible, gathering proof and evidence that they are in fact generating some kind of results. At our live events, we've actually got 2 rooms where we ask them questions, we interview them, and that sort of thing. And the bottom line is, where things really and radically transform is we've created 2 different tiers. We call them heroes on one hand. Those are people who use our products and actually achieve some form of transformation in their life. And then we have what we call our all-stars. All-stars are people who have gone from hero status that we've used and presented as proof in stories. But we actually go a step further, and this is the transcendent stage. And that is, we give them the opportunity to actually teach and to share in our community and to create a platform of their own. Because if your product, if your service gives them an opportunity to grow, and you've heard before that the best way to keep someone, an employee happy, keep them around, it's not by paying them more, but it's growth. Growth and contribution is the biggest motivator in most people's lives, ultimately. All right? So by giving them a platform, giving them an opportunity for growth, at our live events, 35% of all of our speakers, they're not outside speakers, it's not a pitch, it's not a sell thing. We bring people in who have just gone in under a year from using a product to transforming their lives to being able to share and teach their stories. Now some people, just like when you saw Mike Hill up here, you'd go, why would he be giving away these unbelievably valuable nuggets? It's because he knows in an environment like this, one of uncommon collaboration, that when you're with a bunch of people from a bunch of different industries and you share openly, that opportunity, that abundance, that brings more attractive people into you, and it's an opportunity to grow that much further. So what winds up happening is everyone sees that there is a path. So they support what they create. And next, our vision for the future, and you can see a couple of the video that's running in the background. My goal in life, before I die, is to create 1 million entrepreneurs before I pass. And also to support charitable organizations. My wife has a foundation. We give a lot of money over in Uganda. We've been building schools and hospitals over there. But we actually get our customers involved in that higher vision, in that higher purpose. And they feel like there's something bigger than them. That is what I'd say when I talk about transcendence. And this is something, I haven't verified it myself, but Tony Robbins made such a great video about it. He said that the root derivation of the word hero actually comes from servant. And that really is the greatest cause, it's the greatest course, and it's what this world needs more than anything right now are great heroes, and that means to be a great servant, to be fully invested in the success of the lives that your products and your services actually touch. And finally, your product plus your customer equals helping people. When they're invested in this, boom, it is over. That's why you have the cult of Mac. It's why Apple is what it is, in my opinion. All right, so ultimately, this is my personal opinion that entrepreneur creation is the savior of society. I do believe that if we would have invested 1/10 of what we've invested in these ridiculous wars that have been going on, we could have turned the world around and made those folks that were bombing our friends. I've seen it with my own eyes. When you go into a society and you educate young girls and you give women an opportunity to have their own business and not be a dependent, they can break free from the bonds of society and transform a society very, very rapidly. So, there you go, thank you very much. I have 10 seconds left, so I'll make this fast. All right, I've got a Disruptasaurus t-shirt for everyone here, and I also have the slides and what else did I get for you? A process. I call it How to Make a Perfect Video Testimonial. It's a step-by-step process. It's what I've been using for years to gather the best information possible. I'll give that to you and also share with you all the technology that I've been using. If you'd like to text your name and email to the number up there, 801-477-5673, or visit thedisruptasaurus.com. My name's Mike Koenigs. I'm your friendly neighborhood Disruptasaurus. Thank you for having me. And let's transform the world.